up your door. I couldn't believe my love. You in your new blue dress, taking away my breath. Cradle is soft and warm. You couldn't do me no harm. You're showing me how to give into temptation, knowing full well the earth will rebel. Into temptation, a muddle of nervous words. Never amount to betrayal. The sentence is on my own. The price is to watch it fail. And as I turned to go, you looked at me for half a second, an open invitation for me to go into temptation, knowing full well the earth will rebel. Into temptation, safe in the wide open arms of hell. Can go sailing in, lie down, and lose yourself when you linger long into temptation, right where you belong. Guilty get no sleep. The last slow hours of morning. Experience is cheap. I should have listened to the warning. But the cradle is soft and warm. Temptation, knowing full well the earth will rebel. Into your wide open arms, no way to break this spell.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Into Temptation by Crowded House. I have loved this song since I was a teenager. Man, it's just so beautiful. No idea why I haven't done it up until now. It's also got really interesting chords. Nothing particularly tricky, but kind of unusual grips that are really fun to play. I think they sound amazing. So let's get to a close-up and check it out. So the main chord sequence that get used in the intro and a lot of the verses is E minor. Probably know this one, second and third fingers on fret 2 of strings 5 and 4. Then the second chord's an interesting one. It's like, I guess, an E minor slash F sharp would be what I'd call it, I guess. We're just taking our E minor chord, moving it up a string. So it's second fret, trying to mute the fourth string there with the underneath of the third finger, and the rest of the strings are open. E minor over F sharp. The next chord is a C major 7 over G. So some of you might be familiar already with this C with a G bass. So that would be a regular C. Move third finger over to the thicker string. That's the G bass. Little finger goes back down where third finger was. This is a C with a G bass. Lift off your first finger. You got C major 7 over G. 3rd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, and open strings. And the next chord is a variation of B7. If you're familiar with B7 already, we're going to start with B7, which is nothing on the thicker string, 2, 1, 2, open, 2. But we're going to lift off 3rd and 4th fingers. So we just got this, I don't even know what to call it, some sort of B7, but it doesn't really matter, it's just a chord, right? And it's one of the beautiful things about this is that I don't really even need to name them or go through some complicated rigmarole of figuring it out, because it just doesn't matter. It's just chord shapes and they sound cool, so don't get too hung up on that kind of thing. So that chord progression, E minor for 2 beats, with an F sharp bass for 2 beats, C with a G bass for 2 beats to this B7 for 2 beats. Now in the verse, the very first chord progression for the verses is different each time, but then it goes back into that same cycle. So the verse for the chord progression starts with the E minor, with an F sharp bass, C with a G bass, then it goes to A5. Now I don't want to hear this major 3rd here, I think for me it sounds a bit sour, so just after these 3 notes, the open 5th string, 2nd fret on strings 4 and 3, and the rest are muted. Then the next chord, this is a B7 sus4. So this is all the 2nd fret in the, I'm using my 2nd finger, 1st finger and 3rd finger. They're all in the 2nd fret on strings 5, 4 and 3. I'm not playing the thicker string, by the way, that's muted by the tip of my 2nd finger there. So we start with that and then we drop 1st finger back, so it's a B7. So you might find it easier to think of it as like a B7 and then sliding 1st finger up between 2nd and 3rd fingers. So let's put that into context now. So the intro, E minor, F sharp bass, G bass to B7. Here we go, verse, E minor. You F sharp bass to C with a G bass to A, B7 sus. My E minor, F sharp bass to G bass. You and your new blue dress. See, we're just looping this little sequence now. Taking away my breath. Still going. The cradle is soft and warm. We couldn't do me no harm. Showing me how to give. Chorus into temptation. Now we're going to a G chord. You can play it whatever way you feel like. Probably tend to use those fingers the most. You probably want to change the strumming pattern at that point as well, but we'll talk about that more in a second. The chords, as we'll get through this, is G, temptation, D, so well, D, E minor could rebel. Now this is an optional thing here, this adding the little finger down, but I really feel like it's intrinsic to the song. So you got G for 1 bar, D for 1 bar, E minor for 1 bar, and little fingers just going down 3rd fret on the 2nd string and then moving back to the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. So 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's going back up. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. G to temptation, D to B7. Mother of nervous words. Back to the thing with the A, B7 sus to be never amount to betrayal. Now we're back into our little sequence. Sentences on my own. Process to watch it fail. As I turn to go, you looked at me for half a second with an open invitation for me to go into temptation. Now this is interesting now because the last time we went E minor, F sharp bass and then into temptation. Second verse, we get all of the way through here. For me to go into temptation, knowing full well the earth will rebel. Into temptation, safe in the wide open arms of hell. C with a G bass. Now it's going to a D, but what I would recommend is just you move that whole C shape, C with a G bass, up 2 frets. You get a D with an A bass, but you get some extra funky sounds in there as well. Now we're into the bridge. E minor 7 with a B bass. So this is little finger down, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and an E minor, but this is the lowest note. Just muting the thicker string with the tip of the 1st finger. We can go sailing in. So just move 1st and 2nd fingers down 1. You got A sus4. C with a G bass. To D with an A bass that I just showed you before. E minor with a B bass. When you A7 sus. G in temptation, right where you belong. So we got the G, D, B7. Then you got that little solo bit. Goes just twice around that little section. Then we're into the next verse. The guilty get no sleep. So we're back to the A. The last slow hours of morning. Experience is cheap. And now we're just cycling that thing. I should have listened to the warning. The cradle is soft and warm. Now we're in the chorus progression. It's instrumental on the record. Now we get to the chorus. Into temptation, knowing full well the earth will rebel. Into your wide open arms, no way to break this spell. And we're back to the C with the G bass to the D with the A bass. Don't tell. There's loads of beautiful, beautiful guitar layers here, but it's just echoing between those two. And I always finish on this. I don't even know what chord that is, some sort of D something or other, I don't care. 2nd finger 7th fret on the 4th string, 3rd finger 7th fret on the 2nd string. I'm muting the 5th string. Obviously if you're playing in a band you can think about all the layers and actually organise it properly, but just as this for me it kind of fits the harmony right, I don't know. And then just finishing on an E minor chord or whatever. Now the key things here, if you're going to play this tune, we've looked at all of the chords, I've been right through the whole arrangement, because the arrangement isn't just simple like verse, chorus, the going into the chorus is a little different each time, so you need to think about it a little bit. It's definitely a good one if you've listened to it a bunch of times, like, you know, in Australia we sort of grew up with this stuff. I think everyone seems to just know how the tunes go, but if you're not that familiar with it, definitely give it a few listens so you're familiar with that. But one of the key things, especially if you're going to play it on your own, is figuring out what you're playing between the different sections. So in the verses, you want to keep to just nice, simple down strums. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just strumming a bit more on beats 2 and 4, the backbeat. And the rest I'm just thinking about the bass note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But it's, you know, it's a fairly long song. If you keep it the same all of the way through, it is going to get a little bit sketchy. So for the verses, I definitely recommend like really thinking about dropping it down when it gets to particularly the second verse after the chorus. Really muddle the nervous words. Never amount to betrayal. You can can pick it up again after that, but that nice drop out of the first chorus I think is a big deal. Also remembering that the choruses want to build a little bit, so when you've gone from that show me how to give into temptation, knowing full well the earth will rebel. Into temptation, mother of this world. You know, see what I mean? That drop. Never a mountain trail. So you can pick it up again then, but just being aware of the differences there. I'm trying to think what I'm doing for the strumming. Into temptation, 1, 2, 4, down, down, up, down, up, down, down. 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 Maybe going back into the verses I'm feeling. I'm already preparing the 8th note thing. But definitely in the choruses I'm going down, down, up, down, up, down, down. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down. Down, up, down, up, down. Maybe on that, when I'm doing that. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, down. But again, this is a key thing about keeping that hand moving. If you put some extra strums in or build it up slightly different, it doesn't really matter. If you're doing a cover, you want to impart some of your own personality onto the tune anyway. Such a beautiful one, loads of different approaches to playing it, and I would encourage you to explore that. What I've tried to give you is kind of like an acoustic version, the way I'd imagine Neil would play it if he was just playing it on his own. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's just an amazing tune. Crowded House are one of those bands that, like, well, Neil Finn as well. I guess it's the whole band, but Neil Finn's writing is just unbelievable. Anyway, so what other Crowdy songs would you like me to do lessons on, other than the obvious hits, of course, which I will get to? I'm thinking some cool stuff like If Lester Lives. That'd be a really a choice little lesser known one to be getting stuck into. Let me know in the comments over on the website or on YouTube if that's where you happen to be. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.